YouTube, another Les Paul. Seem to be quite Les Paul-y of late. Yeah, so this is a Coxx, which is maybe not the best name we choose for a guitar. The chap, there's actually the inspected sticker on the back, which looks very familiar, doesn't it? I think the guy who owns this just had a broken switch and a bit of wiring needing done. Doubt that's the original pickup, seeing as it's not gold. Yeah, so he said he heard that it was made in the Epiphone factory. I was kind of looking at it going, it does kind of look very much like a Rally guitar, R-A-L-L-Y. They did, they were apparently that thing as well, where it's the same factory. I don't know. Nowadays, there are, maybe in the last 10 years, there is actually an Epiphone factory. You know, a factory that says Epiphone above it and makes just Epiphones. Whereas the other one you can say, like, oh, the Fujigen is the Ibanez factory, but it's not actually an Ibanez factory. They just make lots of Ibanez, but they also make other stuff. So I don't think it's from when it's from the Epiphone factory. I think they mean it's more from the same factory that made Epiphones at this era. So very similar to the Rally one. Also, this ice cream cone thing, is it Gould, who might also be from the same factory as Epiphone, Korean, most likely. Could be Cort or Samick, because pretty much everything's Cort or Samick from the 90s and 2000s. That inspected by BJ Lee. What guitar was it? For some reason, I'm thinking it was a Tanglewood Rickenbacker copy I had. It's obviously inspected by Bruce Lee. That's the first I've noticed there. I definitely have seen Bruce Lee on other ones. So they definitely made other guitars, because I've never seen a Coxx before. My favourite bit is it's not a Les Paul, it's a Let's Roll custom. That might not necessarily be original though. Someone could have just made that up. I think that's quite funny. It's kind of like, is it Let's Rock, Tokai do, and there's other ones. There's a few. I always, to be honest, kind of like the idea of collecting the ones with the cool names. There's one that they somehow managed to make. You know, they can make it say Les Paul, even though Leopard. There's a Leopard as well that they've managed to write Leopard so that it looks like it says Les Paul, which is pretty impressive. Kind of like that idea. So it's got a sort of their own unique headstock. This is not the. I've not actually seen this one before. This sort of mountain range on the top. Not seen that before. Coxx guitar design. Well, I wouldn't know. Design. It's a Les Paul, isn't it? I think this bit's a little bit. Is this a little bit more going in the sort of Birdland? Is that a bit spikier than a Les Paul normally is? And is it maybe a bit thinner here? In fact, looking at it, it's kind of maybe they can claim to have designed it themselves. They've just designed it, but started off pretty much with a picture of a Les Paul and gone, well, there we go. Design. So set neck, bound back and front, Les Paul custom. Sorry, Let's Roll custom. Tone plastic binding, the big mother of pearl. It could actually be mother of pearl. The way I'm thinking it might actually be real mother of pearl is that one there is really figured, and these ones are really plain. And normally, if it's like fake mother of pearl, I don't know, perloid, they're normally quite consistent. Whereas if it's real mother of pearl but relatively low grade stuff, it's like there's the bits all look different because no two snowflakes are the same type thing. So I'm playing today through the Carlton 100 watt solid state amp. I'm thinking of moving back to going back to one of my other amps. The reason that's still there is because it weighs so flipping much. So there's probably no other videos of this online. There might be, I haven't looked. So just clean bit of reverb on. That'll be the neck pickup, bridge pickup. Middle pickup. kind of getting into a little bit. I always thought that with a like an SG or a two humbucker guitar, like a Gibson, middle position, not middle pickup, is kind of never really used it. You know, bridge or neck. But actually, see when you're playing clean, it does seem to work quite well. It's a little bit harsh, and the middle's just got a nice bit of boinginess to it. Trademark on the name boinginess in the word. I'm trying to stay with heaven going. Too many cables in the way. Too many things sitting on top of it. Too many cables lying down there. I'm kind of trying to poke my foot between. That's a really bad version of All on the Watchtower, isn't it? Rat pedal. A terrible bit of playing I'm doing today for some reason. No, but it's a good guitar. This is not a cheapie. I don't know how much it would have cost. I'd imagine this kind of doing what I think Raleigh were doing, and probably quite a lot of other companies, where they were producing a guitar that was every bit as good as and a total contender with an Epiphone one, but it would have been 3/4 of the price. Looking back, if you'd bought this, I'm guessing this is coming up for 20 years old, something like that, maybe 25 years old. If you'd bought the Epiphone one at the time for an extra £100, it would be worth £100 more than this one is just now. You'd probably be able to sell it much easier. People go, Epiphone, know that. Coxx. Do you want to get your... Just ask, yeah. Should we get our Coxx out on stage? And it's like, well... It's a poor choice, but there you go. Poor is it Brian Coxx, the actor? Poor him. He must have had a terrible time at school. It's like Megan said, I used to know someone who was called Doug, or he was a year above me, Douglas Dick, second name Dick. Ooh, bad. I don't think any of us with normal names really know the actual pain. I used to know a guy called Colin Pratt as well, and it was like, well, it's a shame. I mean, Pratt's not that uncommon. Pink Floyd's bass player from like the Momentary Lapse of Reason onwards is Guy Pratt. It's like, Guy's a Pratt. It's like, it's just unfortunate. Changing Sounds by Depot, but build quality wise it's really good. Back in the days when you still got, you could do a wee bit of a clean actually, but decent. The gold hardware is nice gold, not like, see, when you get like a Chipson where it's that sort of brassy coloured stuff. In fact, I've actually got a set of Epiphone pickups lying about that are that brassy gold, not goldy gold. You know, it's like more of a, this is more of a sort of subtle gold, kind of looks more like the gold does, well, kind of that sort of, you know, like on an expensive guitar rather than being the gold you get on the cheapest of cheap. Makes a difference. Nice tuners as well. They're not branded, but it's got the. These are my favourite. See, they're called kidney bean. You get on Grovers. They're just get Grover shaped things on. But that's my favourite. The ones I don't like are. Where's it? The one on this. There's an odd one on this guitar. See, these shaped ones. They're kind of got a sharp edge on the bottom. That shape's just like, I don't know, you know what you how you describe that shape. Those are the ones I don't like. That's maybe be one of my last choices of tuner buttons. You can buy tuner buttons. If anyone's got one of these, by the way, an Aria Pro with a sort of tulipy shaped one, give me a shout. So this is sort of Grovery ones. It's kind of like it's almost like an upgraded one. I'd imagine that pickup is something. It doesn't look like anything fancy, but I'd imagine it's a more powerful one. But in saying that, actually, the mixture between the two is pretty good. So you get the bridge, and then the neck. It's not a bad mix. Actually, that neck pickup, it's got a real woo. And that's with the tone up, the tone down for the women tone. Is that tone control doing something? It's just a bit dirty. Yeah, it's really doing something, isn't it? No, still do it with the rat pedal on. I'm sitting here wondering if I've got coming up for a big mind change coming up, because the last few Les Pauls I've played I've actually really liked, and it's like I don't like Les Pauls, maybe just don't like the look of them, but or maybe just had the wrong ones, but this one seems awfully nice as well. I mean, I don't really have room for one. I'll just play one of these instead, which kind of does everything that we do, apart from it's got a cool name. It's not Coxx, it's a Hawk, which is it's a much cooler name. Although I do like the Let's Roll custom, Let's Roll custom, made to look like Les Paul. So there we go. I mean, one of these, I would maybe, to be honest, I would be tempted to keep one of these if one of them comes through my hands, if it was white. Oh. This exact guitar, but white. Not a big one for black guitars, me. I'm just guitar racist. I kind of like brighter colours so you can see them. But a pretty classy thing and very well built. Did I mention it's like a set neck and it's a carved top. I don't know whether it'll be like a proper maple cap, tone cap with a tone body or whatever. On guitars like that, it's much more important to have the neck in the right place, nice frets, well done frets, decent hardware, and everything lined up right, which this totally is. That's much more important than it being made of maple cap for tone. Yeah, you put a maple cap for tone on it, put crap pickups and bendy tuners and put the neck on at the wrong angle and you've got a crap guitar. There's a bit of a strange colour going on somewhere. It's kind of green. Somehow the age... It's going aging, but I mean, it's aged properly. I don't think this is necessarily was originally cream. I think that this looks like it's actually sort of natural age. Maybe it was it's yellowed a little bit over time. A much better, I'll be honest here, the most expensive guitar I've ever played in a shop was a Les Paul 58 or 59 reissue relic, which was £8,500, something like that. And see the fake aged binding, it looked crap. It did not look like what old binding looks like. It looked like it had been, like, you know when you buy the pickup covers from China and you've got the choice of like white, aged or black, and you buy the aged ones and they've got that sort of almost got a depth to it where it's a sort of not a partly translucent plastic, and that's how it gets that. That's what sort of was on that Gibson at £8,500, whereas this has got, it just looks like what old binding would look like. Maybe that is because it's 20 years old, but well impressed. So I managed to avoid having to buy a Switch because I had one. I don't have. See when I was talking about that sort of fake Chinese plasticky that's kind of made to look old, like the switch tip. This one had a cream switch tip. I think it's cream. I put a black one, didn't look right. I think cream's the one you want. So it just needs lots of dirt on it and stuff to make it look less fake. I mean, you can really see it when you're looking at this because you're looking at like old binding. Bit of plastic made to look old, like on a genuine £8,500 Les Paul 58 reissue relic, whatever thing it was. Didn't like that guitar at all. To sum up, yes, get one of these, they're awesome. If you like Les Pauls, I would have this over an Epiphone. If the two of them were the same price, whatever a 90s, early 2000s Epiphone one, if the two were the same price, I'd probably buy the Epiphone just because you'd be able to sell it for more money. But this could be a better guitar. I don't really look at Les Pauls very much, but the more I see this, you know, it's like when you recognise things, like because I've got the SG, always had the SG, when you get an SG that's not quite the right shape, it sticks out and looks like it's like someone with a massive nose or something. It's like doesn't look right. Same with Strats or Tellys, you know, when they get it not wrong, but it's not quite, obviously there's trademark things on it. The more I look at this one, the more I'm thinking it definitely seems to be thinner here than a normal Les Paul, and I think this is pointier. Is it not normally rounded in a Les Paul? Or it's not quite this shape? But at first glance, it totally is. And obviously it doesn't make any difference to the way it plays. I don't think anyone's going to notice. I think it's actually, there's a point where it can look better. See, the more I look at it, the bigger this bit seems, the smaller this bit seems. But you can get it looking right, or you can get it looking wonky. Go for an example of the ESP Viper, which is like an SG, but it's like a jazz bass. So it's like this horn is a bit longer and this horn is a bit shorter, and the whole thing looks like it's been melted. Amazing guitar. I had one. Amazing looking playing thing. Best frets on any guitars, the LTDs. Couldn't stand looking at it. It's like pure. It's just like no, but SG looks like that. I can't look at that. And then you get the other side of the thing where you get something like my. Hold on. Guitars in the way. Yeah, something like this, right? So I've got Tellys, love Tellys. This is not quite Telecaster shaped. It's quite close. This is pointier. It's a bit more thinner and angular. Scratch plate's completely different headstock. but tastefully done. I like this. It kind of looks like a sort of, it's kind of what this is. It's like a sort of a streamlined, evolved kind of thing, but still keeping the look good. What do you like this? But this has got, it's just a little bit more evil and a little bit sporty looking, but not in any way ugly. I was actually talking about this with Blacktooth the other day. I had an Axel Les Paul, a white one, which I really liked. But instead of to get around the trade rate fridge, it kind of did that. Do you imagine the horn kind of doing that? And guitar looked amazing, but that bit was just like somebody with a massive boil on their nose. You know, you get up here, oh, nice guitar, up here. It just looked horrible. What is that? I can totally live with. It looks great. So, a quick video, 20 minutes. Yeah, shit going down this week. Got probably 10 guitars to fix or something like that. This was the first one that was in the queue, so this will be Friday, and I've still got, did this one. So it's now up and working, just put a new switch in it. And there was a wire off there was just some not brilliant soldering which I've sorted out. So this one, back up and running. Haven't touched, kind of doesn't need set up. I think the guy who owns this knows what he's doing. Action's good. Strings are, well, not ready to get changed yet. They're alright. Well, nice, solid guitar. Same, I would also say very, very similar to the Rally. Although I don't know if the Rally had this bit or this. I don't think it had this headstock shape. Just a little bit different. Getting around trademark infringement, isn't it? But it is a Les Paul. There's no point. It's a Les Paul. Rock on. Catch you later.